In the dark of love I sit and wait. This is home. This is where I ought to be. This is home. Right here with you and me. At night I toss and turn when you're not here with me.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of I Am I. My name is Joshua Ansley, and today I want to talk about home and cultivating a sense of home for ourselves. Now, I'll be very honest, I understand now that some of us may come from spaces where home is not the greatest thing. The idea of cultivating a sense of home is not a blessing and not a powerful trigger, or it can be a powerful negative trigger for us, right? So if that's the case, then I want to work towards getting out of that old concept and to start to cultivate a powerfully positive concept of home for ourselves, right? So while I always talk about coming from this space of moving inward and finding that space of stability and strength inward, I will say that it can definitely be helpful. I mean, this whole spiritual practice is about taking the outward to bend it inward, so to taking that awareness inward. So it is still an outward process, right? So even the philosophy is part of this physical world. It's part of this realm that we then use to bring inward. So it can be powerful to create, it's essential really to create a powerful, safe space for us to heal in. Particularly if we've not had a safe space, if we had not had a safe home growing up, ideally, the idea is that we've probably created an unsafe space for us, or continued to endeavor in unsafe areas in our lives, basically because we become addicted to that unsafe feeling within ourselves. That's where we actually feel most comfortable, is in the instability, right? So it may be actually uncomfortable to come into a space of home and to cultivate a sense of home within ourselves. But I venture to say that that is something that we need to do. So practically at home, whether, feng shui or whatever the fuck it is, it is powerful to, there is a difference when you see somebody that has put care and attention into their home. There's a different feeling in it, that you create a space that is safe for you. That you take the energy, the time to create that space. Everything takes energy. Wherever we put our attention, and our energy will grow, right? So it's important to cultivate a sense of home within our house, let's say, in our physical structure of our house, to create a home and not just have it be a house, right? And what is it? And if we don't know, and we weren't given the practice of, we didn't grow up with that sort of awareness to have some sort of even decor that can make us feel at home, then it's a powerful thing to get into touch with ourselves and to know what it is that we want in our homes. What is it that when you walk into your home is going to make you feel at home when you look at it on the wall? What is going to give you a feeling of like, yes, this is my space? Make it your space so it's not just four blank walls. I'm very minimalist. I don't like a lot of things. That's me personally. That's what makes me feel safe and clean and pure, But whatever that space is, whatever that thing is that is going to create a feeling within inside of yourself, so that when you come into your home, that you are coming to that resting place for it to be a reset, to be a recharge. And when we get into the yoga mat, that is a space where we can create home for ourselves in that space as well too, and that's a powerful thing to do, to consciously do that. So that's all in that outward, physical realm, and it's very important, right? To take the time to give ourselves a bath, in this healing process. If we have a lot of anxiety, or if we're really working through deep levels of childhood trauma, and if you haven't, then God bless you, because maybe it's coming. And I'll be here for you if it is. When you start not having a fucking clue what the hell's going on and why you're reacting this way, and why your life is a complete shambles and all this kind of stuff and blah, 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 it's probably that happening. So baths are pretty powerful for me in that space. And to put on some soft, gentle music, and to create this feeling and this environment of warmth and safety, right? So that's all wonderful. and to really powerful thing in our practice. But really then ultimately, like I said before, we do want to be coming into cultivating a space within ourselves that is that space of home, right? So that ultimately we can bring that home with us wherever we go. So that home is a space inside of us, so that it really is cultivating it from within. Now we can use these outward things to help us understand what that space of home is and get us into a safe space. If you do not have a safe home, I recommend there's a lot of support groups you can find. Direct message me if you're going through a particular thing. Maybe I can help you, because there's a bunch of different ones. But I think it's important to find a sense of home. Maybe it is in your yoga studio, right? Or in whatever, a church or whatever the hell it is. You find your tribe, to find your satsang, right? To find the people who are like-minded. There's a lot of religions and things like that that I'm not like-minded with. I still go there sometimes because I love the practice, but I find my tribe. But ultimately, this is about the home is about a sense of like that root chakra, Muladhara, right? And how to create that stability and strength within yourself. Because as I always say, it's how you relate to yourself first. If you don't have a healthy sense of self, then you can't really get over yourself. I think it takes a healthy sense of self to get over yourself, in my opinion, right? So a healthy sense of ego in order to get over it, because otherwise you'll just be tearing yourself down. I'll probably say that a lot. I've been saying that a lot lately. I go for trends for several weeks in a row where I kind of say the same thing. But so to cultivate that sense of home within ourselves is really powerful and really important. And it is that foundation upon which we build everything else. So that relationship to self is coming first, right? So I want to actually take it through a little exercise, a little practice, because it is as we think, so we become. It really is that. And we have no idea the power of your mind, that it is all in your mind. And I don't mean to say that reality is not happening out here. It's not that's the sort of mystical, none of this exists kind of shit, which is all maybe true, and that's all well and good, right? But I do believe that singularity does exist. There is a whole nother world that exists. They usually speak about it in that black and white sense to get you, because it's such a drastic, it's so easily that we can fall into this external world, right? So it's to take it that extreme to say that none of this actually exists, so that you can get into that layer underneath of the true substratum of reality, right? Without which there is no sense of stability. It's the foundation of everything. And when you connect into that, see what happens is when we get home in ourselves a little bit more, when we get home, when we feel at home within our bodies, when we feel at home within our breath, then we can venture out into bigger areas in our lives. When we can feel at home within the discomfort, right? So we don't have to try to get home to that actual safe place, which is a great place to develop and have for ourselves, right? But maybe you can't do that. Maybe you don't have that available to you, right? So we need to be able to do that within ourselves. And it's from our thoughts. It's how we create this whole thing, right? The body will be a manifestation of what we're thinking. It is all so deeply related. The DNA, epigenetics tells us that we are, the thought does create our bodies, right? So anyway, so I want to come to just maybe a gentle meditation here. So maybe lengthening up through the spine, softening the jaw, maybe closing the eyes, right? And if you're driving, then maybe pause it. Well, not maybe pause it. Don't do this while you're driving. Don't fucking close your eyes while you're driving and start meditating and be like, well, it's all his fault, and then I'm getting sued. So finding a space, closing the eyes, and let's just come into the breath. And allow this feeling of home to resonate inside of you. So again, if you don't have a positive association with home, then let's start to create one now. What would be your ultimate home? What would make you feel safe and stable and steady in your space? How would you create your space to feel that place of safety? So maybe that's a visualization. If it's you sitting next to a fireplace drinking hot cocoa, or whatever home is for you, what safe space can you create and maybe visualize? And maybe it's just a sensation, maybe it's one leading to the other. And allow that feeling and that sensation to flow throughout the body. Letting go of the distractions, this is creating a safe space within ourselves, no matter where we are going, no matter what is happening in our lives, no matter what is happening in our emotions and our thoughts. There is still this safe space inside of us, this place that is untouched, this place that cannot be wounded, this space of home within. And let's associate this space of home with the breath as we inhale and exhale. Let that breath become a home for us. As you feel that breath coming into the lungs, feel it open into that space of home. And allow that feeling of home to be carried out into every single cell in the body. Actively cultivating this sense of home within ourselves. Allow that breath to come in a little bit deeper. Open that breath into the belly. Soften the jaw. I am home. I am home. So it's not a place, it is a state of being. And allow that home to just resonate inside of you. Let's take a nice deep inhale together. Exhale out the mouth. And maybe opening the eyes back up. So I just thought it'd be fun to do a little meditation. Of course, it got a little noisy right when I started to do the meditation. That was fantastic. Gotta love it, right? But that's exactly the point. It's about getting into a space inside of ourselves where we have that sense of home within us, no matter what is happening in our lives. So if we associate home with the breath, that breath is the one thing that is always with us. So when shit starts to get fucking chaotic, you can come back to the breath. You can come back to that sense of home and always have that. This is you creating your life, you taking responsibility for your emotions, for your thoughts, for the way this body-mind complex is operating in this world. Right? It's very simple to think that this stuff is, or very easy to think that this stuff is nonsense and it's like ridiculous. I'm going to sit there and, we all make fun of it and blah, blah, blah. But it's incredibly powerful as you start to cultivate these emotions and these feelings and these ideas inside of yourself. It will transform the way you operate in this world. I mean, think about that. If you can truly carry home with you, no matter what is happening in your life, no matter where you're going, coming into that space of stability and strength. That's an ideal that we're working towards. So it's not about shaming ourselves for not being there and not being perfect, right? And there's going to be tragedies in life. There's going to be traumas. There's going to be all this stuff. That's exactly why we need to do this, to come back into that safe space within us. That space that cannot be touched. It cannot be wounded. It cannot be moved. It cannot be hurt. That home, that no matter what vampire you invite into your space, they still cannot get into the depths, into the chambers of your heart in that space. So, welcome home. In Lakesha Lakin, I am you, you are me. Namaste.